Thanks so much. If you are listening to us on one of the radio stations, we greatly appreciate that. Thanks so much for listening. We are trying to get the word out for women's sports. We know the men's sports gets a lot of pub. We're going to get the women's sports more pub, God willing, hopefully. We've been doing great so far, getting a lot of woman profile on the program. If you're listening to us on one of the podcasting sites, definitely hit us with a subscription. It's free. It's YouTube. It's Spotify. It's not paying. Uh, but we do want to get the word out. So subscribe if you can, like, share, whatever it may be. We appreciate that. Enough of my nonsense. We have a very special guest. She is a total stud on the field, off the field. She's played about 150 million sports. This is Gab. This is Gaby Rourke here on the program. It is Gaby Rourke 03 on Twitter, at Gaby Rourke on Instagram. It is spelled Rourke. And she is from Duval. We can yell that out like a Jacksonville Jaguars game. Duval County over in Jayville. And she is part of the USF women's soccer team. The starting goalkeeper, number 3 on the field and number 1 in Bulls fans' hearts. What is up, boss lady? Gaby, so excited to have you on here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I'm definitely excited to be here with that intro. Whew.
I was laying it on
me up.
There. I was laying it on
hyping me up.
Maybe we'll be like the announcer before the game. We'll hype you up. But anyways,
I know. We need to get you hired at USF. Oh my gosh. I'm like ready to go now.
Hey, you got to be prepared and ready to rock and roll. And we know you're always rocking and rolling. So let's start out with high school before we even go into, college. So in high school, you were like busier than a beaver, playing volleyball, flag football, soccer, softball, football. I mean, it wears me out just thinking about all the sports you were playing, not to mention you were in school as well doing that. How the heck did you do all these things?
I was a very hyper rambunctious kid. I still am. I can't really outgrow that one. I get it from my mom. Shout out, mom. But I really just I loved sports so much that doing it all the time, playing it all the time, playing it from 2:15 p.m. right after school to 10 p.m. It just didn't really bother me like that. It just was I love doing it. Why should I be stressed out about it? I was excited to go to every practice. I never really got I would get tired, but I just found myself doing schoolwork throughout the day just so that when I go home, I could just go straight to sleep. I took every minute that I had. I took advantage of it. Just to say in the beginning, it was not smooth sailing. I definitely messed up a couple of times when it came to schoolwork. Priorities were not there, but we came out on top in the end. That's all that matters.
So, talk about specifically, we're going to talk some soccer, some football, some real football. The only football in this country is American, but we talk about football internationally. We talk about soccer. We'll get into that in just a few moments. Let's talk about American football. Now, you played in high school along with playing fat flag football. How was it playing with the guys? Did they treat you well? Was it tough to adjust for them, for you?
Honestly, it wasn't really that tough to adjust. I've always been around guys my whole life. I have 2 older brothers that are 7 and 8 years older than me. They played baseball. We were the party house, so after every game we would always come over to our house. So I was just surrounded by a bunch of boys growing up. So that aspect of it never really was that hard for me to adjust to. It was more so for them. When I went out to the tryouts, they were like, "Oh, so you're out here to be the manager?" And I was like, no, not really." Um, and it was at first, they teased me a bit, but boys are boys, they're gonna do that. But kind of once I just showed them that I was here for a job and I was serious and I just wanted to, do my part, I kind of earned my respect that way. And they all saw me as a little sister and I saw them as little brothers. So it was just a really fun experience. And especially after I think maybe the first month or so, it became just it was normal, other schools were kind of what the heck, but my school, my team, that we were all just one big family, so it was awesome.
Somebody from the audience told me to ask you this, so we'll throw this question out. Since we're talking about American football right now, what were your stats on the field?
I don't think I missed a field goal, actually, an extra
Oh.
point. I don't think I missed an extra point. Um, if I
Did
did,
you
I
take
just don't
field
remember.
goals?
I probably just
Sorry to
uh
interject. Did you take field
no.
goals as well?
I did. So I did field goal, kickoff. I just didn't do punting because I didn't know how to punt the ball correctly, and we had like a kid that was just specialized in punting. So like he just did that. We tried to do him at kickoff, but it just kind of didn't really work. So um extra points, I don't believe I missed. My furthest field goal was in a spring game and it was 45 yards.
Wow, that's very impressive for
Mhm.
anybody.
Yeah.
Not to mention that that wasn't even your first sport. I
Yeah.
do know a couple of women soccer players that I've interviewed in the past. A woman that played at Wake Forest, she's a friend of mine. She also kicked too. So I feel like as a soccer player in general, there are some women that can really do that. I mean, you excelled at it, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely. It's just you see it very commonly in football that 9 times out of 10, almost every kicker for college or NFL, they have some sort of soccer background. Like
Right.
once you kind of have that kicking motion and say, like, it's pretty easy to change, like, how to aim and how to kick an egg shaped ball versus a spear shaped ball.
Mhm.
Um, but it wasn't that big of a change. It was more so the follow through that was a little bit awkward. But like that was pretty easy. I had actually Jaguar legend Mike Hollis teach me
Wow.
behind the scenes. hmm And Josh Goby. That was sick.
Yes, great kicker as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had some, professional help also, but it was definitely a fun experience.
Gaby Rourke here on the program. It is Gaby Rourke 03 on Twitter, at Gaby Rourke on Instagram. Definitely shoot her a follow on both. She is the starting goalkeeper at USF, and she is number 3 on the field, number 1 in Bulls fans' hearts. We'll keep saying that as the interview keeps going on. We
I love
actually,
it.
I'm happy you did. I made it up myself before the interview,
Mhm.
so glad
Love
you
it.
enjoyed it.
We need to put that on a t-shirt and trademark it and everything.
You know what to do behind the goal, put a big poster and have either
Mhm.
somebody hold it in the whole game. If they have to pay
Mhm.
somebody $5, let them hold
Yeah.
the game, or put it on the
Mhm.
wall or something like that. Do that. And now
You might be onto something there. You might be onto something. I might have to talk to the coaching staff about that one.
let's do it. All right.
Mhm.
So let's move on into the interview. So when we talk about like being a multi-sport athlete as you are, how did it shape you as an athlete? Because obviously you talked about your brothers and they played baseball, and that obviously made you into what you are today, as you were always out there with them fighting to be the best. Besides them, what else shaped you as that multi-sport athlete?
Um, really just my love for sports, my whole family, we just love watching sports. My brothers were multi-sport athletes as well. And
Mhm.
in my family, the way we kind of show love to each other is by competing with each other. We were very rowdy household, everything was a competition and my mom would always be like, not everything's a competition, but it is. And, you always, especially being the only girl and the youngest, I had a lot to prove. So, I would always try to be better than them, always try to show off. And when I was younger, they didn't really consider me in their little competition. It was always my two older brothers, and then I was just kind of there pretending like I was in it. But as I got older and started showing that, like I actually can hold my own. Then they started being like, okay, Gabby, like, let's see what you got. And so,
Mhm.
growing up, they played multiple sports. My brothers played like when they were like little, they played flag football. They also played soccer. Um, and they played baseball, they played football, they played everything like basically like I did. So I was like, okay, well, now I have to do it, but I have to be better, duh. So that kind of started my journey with it. And I've always just loved like the aspect of every sport, volleyball. I love watching volleyball. I love playing volleyball. I played middle blocker for volleyball. Football, I love football growing up. I would always watch it on Sundays with my dad watching the Jags. And then like baseball, growing up in a baseball family, like that just comes with it. And then soccer, I kind of fell in love with that on my own because my mom tried to put me in t-ball when I was younger. And I was one of those kids chasing butterflies in the outfield. I was so bored by it. Like, I did not have fun out there because, who's going to hit a ball in the outfield when you're 3 years old?
Yeah.
So my mom was like, okay, we need to put you in a sport that you can just get rid of all your energy, come home and go to bed. And so she put me in soccer. And then ever since then, I think I was 8 years old. I fell in love with it and I've been playing it ever since.
Liam Cohen, the head coach of the Jaguars, went to the same high school I did. He was quite a few
Really?
grades in front, but he is a
Hmm.
friend of the family. Great job, and he's kicking some butt and taking no prisoners,
Hmm.
and that's
Oh
a
my gosh,
team
we
player.
love him. We love him. We love Liam Cohn. He's the GOAT.
Well, I don't know about the GOAT yet, but he is a great coach so
He's
far. He
on
was a
the
good
way.
quarterback in our high school and also played at UMass. Uh,
Hmm.
But let's get into Kentucky now. So I
Okay.
was told that you went to Kentucky because you had a friend there. You went on
Hmm.
the visit. You liked it. But I
Hmm.
want to get into it as far as this aspect because, you know, when you were getting recruited by Kentucky and these other schools as well,
Hmm.
most coaches, at least as this is what I've heard, and coaching, young girls soccer. This is what I was told by a lot of parents too. A lot of club coaches, they don't want their girls to play other sports. They want them just to play for club. They're playing club all year round. They don't want them to play high school. They don't want them to play all the other sports that you played. So how did you get away with that? And did the coaches at Kentucky, were they worried about that?
Hmm.
Because you could have got a serious injury, excuse me, and your
Hmm.
career would have been over.
So I actually get that question a lot because a lot of my now college teammates back at Kentucky, they would ask me the same thing. I
Mhm.
was very fortunate to have coaches that kind of understood my passion for it, and same with the coaches at Kentucky. Um, they didn't really care more so of what I did. It was just like, just don't get hurt. And if you do, it better not be serious. So I always had to take that into account, and I was very blessed not to get a very bad injury playing multiple sports. Um, but for me, I knew I wanted to play a lot of sports, regardless if like that meant I had to switch clubs or anything. So,
Mhm.
um, I was very fortunate enough to be able to sit down with my coaches and talk it out and have come up with a compromise. And like, fortunate enough, the games never interfered with practice, or the high school games never interfered with club games. I could get away with missing like 1 to 2 practices a week because, like, I'm a goalkeeper. We had other goalkeepers, but like I still was able to prove my worth. And it's not like I was missing practice because I was just goofing off doing willy nilly. I was actually doing a physical activity. So, um, I kind of sat down with my coaches, and when I moved up to ECNL, which is like the like top level for club,
Yeah.
I sat down with them and I said, listen, like, I really appreciate the opportunity here, but I do want to let you know that I am going to continue playing multiple sports. And if you are not okay with that, that is fine. I will go to the neighboring club. And they were okay with it. And actually eventually switched to the neighboring club, Florida Elite. And they were still okay with it too, because as long as you communicate and you give really good reasons why. Like, for me, every sport that I played benefited me with being a good goalkeeper.
Mhm.
Volleyball helped me with my vertical, helped me with timing the ball. Flag football helped me with my hands catching the ball. And football even taught me how to kick the ball differently. Same with softball, even hand eye coordination. So, like, every aspect of every sport that I played had a different benefit on helping me become more athletic to become a better goalkeeper. So that was the argument that I chose. But at the end of the day, like, I always tell these parents, I always tell these kids, your kid is the player. Your kid is the one benefiting from playing this sport. They can do what they want. If they want to play other sports, they can. They have every right to, and no contract does it say they can't. So a lot of coaches use that against these kids, and I just think it's not right because
Yeah.
almost every professional athlete played multiple sports. Almost every coach played multiple sports. So I don't know why they're trying to change it now. If any, it just benefits athletes. So it's really just my thing I would say is just communicate and just be honest. No need to hide it or lie.
When you look at even the guy like Deion Sanders at Florida State, and,
Exactly.
yeah, playing, baseball and football and,
Mm.
succeeding at that. Just going into Kentucky, a lot of people that are listening to this want to know, you took that red shirt year. What happened? What made you want to transfer to USF? Was it to be closer to home?
It was a lot of reasons. There was a bunch of things to kind of add into it. I took my redshirt year because I had three redshirt seniors in front of me. So I was
Wow.
like, yeah, so I was like, okay, obviously I'm not going to play. So I just took that year to kind of focus on myself and my development. And then it was going to be me and then three incoming freshmen. And I kind of put a like a step. I did a step in the wrong direction my fall of redshirt year. um I would say I definitely took practice serious, but I don't think I gave my 100% that I could have given that semester, because I know it's a really bad reason, but it was super hard for me to constantly compete knowing I wasn't going to play. So
Okay.
sometimes I would just kind of show up rather, and then like I wasn't really there, but I was there. And it was definitely a learning experience. And so in the spring, I kind of dug myself a hole and I had to prove myself in one semester. And it was super hard. And at that point, the coach already kind of had a predetermined notion about me. And um, in this day and age, there is no more time for development. There is no more time to put your trust in a player. It's either you do it now or you're never going to do it. So we kind of both agreed that um, it would be best if I just, find another school, because they need to. They're bringing in three freshmen, and they can't rely on a redshirt freshman who was in and out, who was about 75% the entire spring. And I also broke my hand at the end of fall too. So I got even had a late comeback, and I got really sick in the middle of the spring too. So I was out for about 2 weeks. So it was just a lot of bumps in the road that um and I definitely blame myself a little bit of it, because I just didn't take that fall that serious. And it was a learning experience. I was young, I was 18. It's my first time on my own. So I just took it on the chin and moved on. So when I went in the transfer portal, I had to remember that I hated the winter in Kentucky. I am not a northern girl. Like, I don't know why I lied to myself and pretend like I was. Like, it's just not me. The snow was not me. Like, that just boo. Like, no.
Right. I get it
And
for sure.
so I was like, okay, I need to go back down south. And I was arguably looking for something closer to home, but like, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, like I was willing to like be okay with that. Um,
Mhm.
and what stuck out about USF to me was, one, the fact that they're consistently a very good program. They've won a lot of conference championships in the past, and they also recruited me in high school. And they were one of the first schools to reach out to me in high school. And they were one of the first schools to reach out with me in the transfer portal, and it's the same coaching staff. So
Right.
that kind of stuck out to me. So it was like, okay, you still believe in me, even though you saw that I didn't really do anything at Kentucky. You still believe in me, you want to give me that chance. And it's a 3 hour drive from home. They gave me a really good offer, and I was just like, it kind of seems like fate. So I ended up committing to South Florida, and yeah, now I'm here.
So, Gabby, let me ask you this question just to tee off from what you just stated. And thank you for being brutally honest about that. Most people would not
Yeah.
be as honest as you were. So, I'm greatly appreciative that you said all
I
that
mean,
stuff.
I have no reason to lie, like it's a learning experience, it's life. I'm not perfect. No one is. And it just wouldn't be, I'd just be lying if I said that it wasn't partially my fault for the reason why I left, but everything happens for a reason. So,
Right.
you live and you learn.
Well, I think you're in a better environment now. Again, for people listening, it is Gabby Rourke here on the program. Gabby Rourke 03 on Twitter. Shoot her a follow there. And then Gabby Rourke on Instagram. Shoot her a follow on there as well. As we continue on through the few questions we have left before we go into the lightning round, let's
Mhm.
talk about the different environment. Obviously, at USF, you talked about how the coaching staff did recruit you before you even went to Kentucky, and they came back around again when you were in the transfer portal. How is the environment different again from USF to Kentucky?
I think the difference here at USF is it's more, I don't want to say forgiving, but understanding. You
Hmm.
know, I think in the SEC, it's cutthroat. And it's if you don't
Right.
do it right the first time, then like, first time it's like, oof, you need to get it on. Second time, you're done. Like you're gonna have that with you forever. I think what I really like about the program at South Florida is that they understand that you're a kid learning how to become an adult, and they're willing to work with you, they're willing to help you. And I think the biggest thing that stuck out with me about USF was the fact that it just feels like everyone loves their job here. Like they're just willing to do whatever it takes to help you and to help you as not only an athlete but as a person. And I really, really appreciated that, especially coming from a school where I just kind of felt um, like a tool in the box, like a random piece of the puzzle. Like to like here, it felt like I felt like I was special, and every athlete feels like they're special. Like they have someone that they can talk to about anything. um with the coaching staff, I really appreciate the fact that they're super super into mental health. Like they put that first before everything.
Hmm.
And they're super like, it's kind of like night and day, like they're just super understanding, and they just want what's best for you, even like sometimes even if that means you have to leave or just other things. Like they always want what's best.
I want to talk about spring season. Obviously, it wrapped up. Talk about the games that you played, what you think you did well, what you think you could do better, even if you want to include the team there as well.
Mm. So we ended up this spring playing St. Leo, Eckerd, Daytona State, and the pro team, the Tampa Bay Sun, the USL
Yeah.
pro team here. Um, I think, well, this spring we decided to go into a new formation too. So that was a big change for us. Um, and I think the biggest thing that I've noticed, like for me especially, was I just need to have patience. I am not going to become the best within 3 practices, and I am very hard on myself. And sometimes that I think, a couple bad practices means that I'm horrible and that I'm getting worse and that I am just like so bad. But you end up like when you're on this kind of bad streak, you end up not you losing sight of the good things that you have done. Um, and I think with me, the biggest thing that I need to work on is just patience, and more on the technical side of soccer. I need to work on my technique as a goalkeeper. I think the biggest thing that almost every coach has told me is that I'm very athletic, but I've always relied on my athleticism as a goalkeeper. And if I can implement technique with like how to dive correctly, how to set my angles correctly and stuff like that, I think that'll really help me unlock the potential that I know I can get to. As for the team, I think we're on a really good track, especially with going into this new formation. Um, I think our biggest challenge is going to just be like, I think our biggest challenge really is just going to be how well can we handle changing under an instant. Like we might change formations in the middle of a game, we might change formations as we're playing. And it's just how well can we perform under pressure. And I think that's probably the biggest challenge with any team, really. But um, we looked really good this spring, and I'm super excited to go into the fall. I have high hopes for everything, and I'm just ready to go.
Any summer plans before preseason and everything kicks up in August?
Actually, yeah, I'm going to Asheville, North Carolina to play summer ball.
Oh,
I went there last year, and we ended up going to the Final Four for USLW. It's like a summer league, semi-pro summer league, and we went to the Final Four. We ended up losing 2-1, but it was still such a great experience, and we got some revenge to take care of this year.
all right, very good. We'll definitely. Can you watch the games online or?
You can,
Oh,
if
nice.
hmm If you follow Asheville City Soccer Club, they'll post the links to the game. So everyone give that a follow on Instagram.
Yeah, definitely shoot that a follow. And again, while we're at it, give Gabby a follow if you haven't already. We'll keep teasing this as the
hmm
interview, roars to a close. Gabby Rourke. It's Rourk, and it's one B. On Instagram, and then on Twitter, it's Gabby, and then Rourke03 on Twitter. Shoot both of those a follow. We're gonna do a quick lightning round here.
All right.
Favorite music slash artist.
Oh gosh, that's so hard because I literally listen to everything. Like I have like 30 different playlists. I have like a rock playlist, I have like rap, I have like anything, any type of genre you can imagine, I have a playlist for it. But I think my favorite artist, I mean, it'd probably have to be Drake. He's so versatile and like he's was my most listened to artist. But if we're going throwback, I'm gonna say like Metallica.
Wow. All right. Very good. I'm
Mhm.
impressed. Well, that's a very different spectrum. Thank
Yeah,
you
yeah, I
for
told you I
sharing
got
that.
a big one.
Superstitions before the game. Any kind of pre-wrap thing you do, or anything in general?
Yeah, so I do this weird thing with my socks where I'll put my left because I wear cut socks, so it's like you wear the grip socks, then you wear the sock sleeve over top of it. And so I put my left grip sock on, I put my left sleeve on, and then I put my left cleat on. And then I put my right sock on, my right sleeve on, and my right cleat on. And then I always tape my wrists and I listen to the same songs. I listen to the same four songs right before we go out, in the corner, getting myself hyped up.
Okay. Fair. What songs? Give us the lowdown on it.
So they're like super like these like really like violent rap songs. And so the first one is Crazy Story by King Von. And then it's First Day Out by J. Dot Breezy. That's a Jacksonville artist. Shout out J. Dot. And then it's oh my gosh. It's Crazy Story Part 3 by King Von. And then it's Like That by Kodak Black.
All right. We'll definitely check those out. For people that have kids, don't have them in the room for those.
Yes,
Uh,
definitely don't.
we'll, we'll keep going here in the lightning round. A favorite soccer memory.
Oh gosh, I think my favorite soccer memory would have to be coming back for last summer league. We were in the semifinals of the tournament and we were losing 1-0, and we scored the game tying goal in extra time with 2 minutes left on the clock, and then we scored the game winning goal in the last 3 minutes of the second overtime.
Mhm.
And I was like, best memory ever. And we'd have sold out crowd and just everyone stormed the field. It was crazy.
All right, so you did play flag football and obviously regular football as well. There's a lot of talk about flag football leagues starting up. Tom Brady was talked about coming back. He's not, but in the
Mhm.
Olympics, and it's going to become an Olympic sport. Would you play if you don't play professional soccer? Would you play like a flag football if you were asked to play because you were big time in flag football?
So my goal actually, I don't know if you know this, but flag football is starting to become a Division 1 sport.
Right.
It's slowly going around to schools. So my goal is to hopefully it'll come to South Florida and to become a dual sport athlete because it's a
Oh, that's
spring
awesome.
sport. So hopefully I'll be able to get back into it because I still play every now and then. I go to tournaments and still. I actually did end up going to the U.S. National ID camp for flag football for the Olympics. And I'm kind of circling in and out of that, but I kind of told them like I can't give them my full like prioritized time because I'm in soccer season and like that is my first sport. But I'm hoping to be able to play both in college at a Division 1 level. So fingers crossed.
Favorite movie?
Oh my gosh.
Give us something good. Come on.
Oh, let me think about this one. Act, I'm actually a horror movie person, so I really liked Hereditary.
I don't know. I've watched the Screams, but I feel like those are kids' movies compared to
Yeah.
other horror movies. but, we'll go with that. I'll check it out after the show ends. Favorite athlete?
Favorite athlete? Um, I'm gonna have to go with my goat Manuel Neuer. That is probably the best goalkeeper of all time. I would always watch his highlights growing up, and he's the reason I'm the goalkeeper I am today.
I was just going to go into a goalkeeper with that last lightning round question because when I think of women's soccer goalkeepers, I think of the ultimate goalkeeper of Hope
Oh,
Solo.
solo. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, you went right into
Yeah.
it. We're
Yeah.
thinking alike here. We're
Mm-hmm.
visualizing what
Wavelength. Hmm.
ESP or ISP or whatever the heck it is.
Uh-huh.
Anyways,
Mhm.
as far as goalkeepers, let's stick with women. Do you
Mhm.
you obviously agree with that? What do you take from like somebody like her game compared? Do you compare it with your game, or is it totally different? What do you think?
Um, I try my best not to compare because then I just kind of get into my head about it. But I really idolize her. I mean, she kind of broke the ground for women's goalkeepers, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but she's like my idol, you know, like growing up, like I would always watch her. I watched her documentary like recently. I've always been a really big fan. Um, and I definitely would say I try to model my game after her. But really, it's just like, I mean, who wouldn't? You know, she set the records for everything. Like when you think of women's goalkeeper, you think of Hope Solo, you know, and like who wouldn't want to have that comparison? So that's definitely someone I would 100% want to be like.
And I know I told you that people can follow you on Twitter, on Instagram, anywhere else you want people to go to follow you as we end.
I think that's all I'm on with social media. If anyone's on TikTok, you can follow me on TikTok. That's another one.
What is your TikTok? We'll throw that out
Say
there as well.
Gabby.Rourke.
Gabby.Rock on TikTok.
Mhm.
Okay, again, Gabby Rock 03 on Twitter, Gabby Rock on Instagram, and Gabby.Rock on TikTok. Sorry we didn't include the TikTok at the beginning. That was my
It's all
mistake.
good.
We'll put that in the description. But Gabby, you were amazing. I'm so grateful to have you on the program. You are a stud. I do hope people that are listening to this or watching this go to USF, go to their games this year, check her out. Also, check the team out because they are ready to
Yes.
rock and roll. This is a team
Yes, we
that's
are.
ready to kick some butt this year and take no prisoners. Gabby, thanks so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.